Hello everyone, welcome to Meetup Studies. In today's video, we are going to see how to use aggregate functions in Pandas. As you already know, I started a new series recently, that is Data Engineer or Data Scientist Interview Preparation Series, where we are going to solve many problems with the help of Pandas. But later I understood that if I could share concepts, that will be useful for the audience. So I already started sharing a concept also. While I was teaching concepts, I will be sharing many interview use cases and the problems and also solutions while I was teaching concepts as well. Okay, now we will see how to use aggregate functions in Pandas. Because these aggregate functions are very useful, even in any projects, I mean in real world projects also, they are going to use these aggregate functions mostly. That is, what are the aggregate functions that we have? That is sum of, min of, max of, count of, average, right? So in real world, they are going to use these five are very, I mean mostly, right? So you should know how to use them with the help of Pandas now. Because of we already seen how to use them in SQL, right? Now we will see how to use them in Pandas. Okay. You can see here in our last videos, I mean in the previous videos, we have already seen how to create a data frame where we have employee details in the list format, right? It could be any details. It could be transaction details, or it could be product details, or it could be anything. And the data could be in list format. And then we created a data frame, right? Next, when we have a data in dictionary format, then also we created a data frame. These are the use case, right? We created, I mean, we solved in our previous video. Now, and this is also one of the video, just before video, I think you can see here, we added a column or we drop a column and we updated a column when we have the data frame, right? There could be many conditions that we applied. I hope you have gone through that previous video. Okay, now in today's video we will see how to use aggregate function. Okay, I'm just considering this data frame because of up to now you, I hope you're following these things. Okay, if you could if not, just go through a previous video. This is the last data frame, right? So I'm just going to use this one. Okay, if I execute, this is the data, right? Now what are the aggregate functions that we have? That is sum, min, max, average, and then count, right? These are the most widely used aggregate functions, right? So we are going to apply all these things to this data frame, and then we'll be extracting many insights. Okay, now if you consider sum, what is the possibility that we can find the sum? That is total salary, right? So this is, assume this is an organization and we have different employees in that particular organization. Now we need to know what is the total salary paying to all employees, right? So you have to find total salary. Okay, how can you find? So this is a column, right? Column in this data frame. So you should call that particular column. Okay, that column in this data frame, right? So you have to call like this: data frame brackets, square bracket, and you have to call it. So if you call like this, if you shift enter, you will be getting all salaries, right? Okay, now what we have to find? We have to find the total salary. So in order to find the total salary, what we have to use? Sum, right? So we have to use sum. Okay, now if I execute, you can see here, this is the total salary. How much? 2,20,000, right? Okay, even if you go through and find total salary manually, you can see here 40, 50, 90. I mean 40 plus 50, 90, 90 plus 30, 120, 120 plus 20, 140, 140 plus 60, 2 lakhs, right? So 2 lakhs plus 4, 5, 9, 12, 14 and 20. Total of 2 lakh 20, right? You can see this is the exact value, right? So even if you want to find the minimum salary also, you can find that also. Let's see that. Employees DF of salary has to be minimum. Okay, now you can see this is 22,000. You can see here what is the minimum among these five people? 22,000 only, right? So that is why it is returning 22,000. Okay, even if you want to return maximum also, you can return DF of salary max. You can see that is 66,000. This is the highest one, right? Next one, what we have? Employees DF of, I'm just going to find how many employees are there in this organization, right? So with the help of employee IDs only we can count it, right? So I'm going to use employee ID, use count, okay, to count it. Now you can see how many employees are there? 5. Okay, next one, average. How can you find the average in Pandas? Let's see here. What you are going to find the average for? That is this salary only. Okay, next we'll see salary average. So if you use average, it won't return. Let's see that also. That will return some error. In Pandas, it won't accept average. But in SQL, it is accepting, right? Here, the alternative term that we will use here, I mean function, that is mean. Okay. Now you can see this is the average. Okay. These are the 5 aggregate functions, right? This is just organization where we found just a value. But if you want to return total salary for each department wise, then what we were using in SQL, we were using department wise or location wise, or it could be anything. So in order to find any department wise total salaries, what we were doing, we were using group by, right? So similarly here also we are finding group by, and we are applying aggregate function to any particular column. Here it is a salary. Okay, here what I'm going to do, employees df, you can see here this is the data, but now I need to know what is the total salary for each department. Okay, so how could I do that? So you have to use group by, right? Group by of what? So whatever the column you want to find, for example, if you want to find the location wise, then you have to group, you have to keep that location in group by, right? Here we are going to find the department wise, so you have to keep that department in your group by. Okay, from this data frame we are going to group by of what? This is, these are standard syntaxes that you should remember. Okay, group by of what is the column, that is department. Even if you by mistake you are keeping a small spelling mistake also, it won't return. And also even if you put a capital also, it won't return, because of in Python it is a case sensitive, right? You should ensure the same column name is there. Okay, now what we are going to find, we are going to find the total salary for each department, right? For each department we are using group by of department. So for what column we are going to find the total, that is salary, right? I mean we are adding a salary, so you have to return, I mean total salary, right? For this column, what is the aggregate function we should use? Because of we are finding the total salary, so we have to use sum, we have to add them, right? So this is how we will use it. Okay, now you can see this is department and these are the total values, I mean total salaries for each department, right? Now you can see if I use, this is not a, you can see now reset, if I use reset index, now you can see this is in data frame format, right? But this should be not a salaries, this should be total salary, right? So we have to change that name. Okay, now I'm going to use name equal to total salary. Now you can see you're getting total salary, right? This is department wise total salary. Clear? Now I'm going to assign this entire result to department wise total salary. Okay, now if I call this, you're getting it, right? But these values are by default in descending order, right? So if I want to make that in ascending order, then we have to mention, this is the standard syntax, sort underscore values of, by which column you want to sort, that is total salary, right? So you have to mention it, total salary, in which order. So if you give like this, by default it will take ascending order. Okay, so even if you want to make sure that in descending order, you have to mention ascending equal to false. Okay, now you can see in descending order, right? This is what we are getting it. But if you want to have that data in ascending order, then you have to mention true. You can see it. Okay, even if you're not able to give, then by default it will take ascending order. Okay, this is how we can find in real world also, in real world scenarios also you can find like this. Okay, okay, for example, if interviews will ask what is the less amount paid by, for each department, what is the total salary is the less amount for the department, which department we are paying the less amount. Okay, then what we have to do, so we need to ensure that this data in sorting order, sorting in ascending order, and then if we return only head of one, that will return only the department that is taking less salary, right? Less total salary. This is the data department. Okay, even if you want to find the highest department taking more salary, then you have to ensure ascending false, right? So you should mention ascending equal to false, means then we are ordering that data in descending order and we are returning the first one, so that it will return the highest one, right? You can see this department taking too much salary, I mean highest one, right? This is how we can retrieve. Okay, department wise total salaries. Okay, next use case would be department wise average salary, or department wise minimum salary, or department wise anything. You can see here department wise count number of employees, right? Anything we can retrieve similarly. Okay, now I'm just going to copy this one. Okay, pasting here I'm going to see department wise average salary. Okay, I'm just taking the variable as department wise average salary. Here what I should use, here I should use main. Okay, same thing, same, but here I'm going to change this as average salary. Okay, Now you can see, if I call this, these are department wise average salary. So if you add all these things and multiply with the number of people in each department, you can see you will get the our total value, that is 2,20,000. Okay. Now we can also return here same thing. Even if you want to sort these values in ascending order, descending order, you have to mention like this. Okay. Similarly, if you want to count, I'm just going to paste it here, this thing. I'm just finding total employees in each department. Okay, department wise employees, or else I'm going to use department wise number of employees. Okay, what I have to use here, I have to use count, but we have to ensure with the help of employee IDs only we are going to count it, right? So we are going to use employee ID. Okay, here I'm going to change this column name as number of employees. Okay, now you can see this got executed. Now I'm going to call this, you can see it. So each department, how many employees are there? Total of 5 employees, right? So this is how we can retrieve. Okay, you can find, I mean, for minimum and maximum also. Okay, here we are using only department wise. For example, if you want to group by with help of department wise and manager wise, then also you can mention multiple columns, no problem. Here we have same manager, right? Even if you use say here group by manager also, you will get the same data. If that is different, we will get different. But you need to understood that here when we are using multiple column, you should keep a list, because of these are the list, right? Now if we execute like this, it will return some errors. We cannot group like this, because of if we are adding a multiple columns in a group by, we should keep them in square bracket. You can see as a list format, you can see no access name manager ID is found, right? Now you can see we have to use this in list format. Okay, now you can see if I execute this query, it got executed, right? So say the same data you will get, because of all managers are same only, right? But here getting another column as manager ID, because of we are using that also, right? Similarly, even if you want to group by with any number of columns, then you can mention all those things. Clear? I hope you understood these things.